We're going to start with a little bit of warm-ups. So let's take our hands overhead and stretch our spine and get really tall as we inhale. Take a deep breath, expand the rib cage and the diaphragm, and then keeping yourself really elongated. Exhale, let yourself relax a little bit, and then take another inhale and get tall again. And reach out, grab the sun, and then exhale, come down. Inhale, put your right hand either on a block or on the side, and take your left hand overhead as we do a side stretch. Get tall on the inhale, and on the exhale, allow yourself to just relax into it. Take another deep breath. Exhale, the side stretch, and let's switch sides. After driving, my body just feels like it's all like crumpled together. So right hand overhead, and look up under your arm, like, or at your arm, really. Inhale, get tall and long and stretchy, and then exhale, let yourself relax and take another breath. Come back to center, and let's forward bend at the hip crease. So we're going to get tall and long. Come down, a nice forward bend, and then allow yourself to just relax on the exhale, and you can round the spine and just relax over the front legs. And come up to center. We'll do the same thing behind us, having the fingers pointed at our body, elbows together so that our chest is wide, and lean back from the, like, up and back with the chest, and look up, and a back bend. Elbows together so that the shoulders get a nice stretch. Come straight again, come to center. Put your right hand behind you, your left hand on your knee. Get tall and long on the inhale, and on the exhale, look over that right shoulder. Two breaths here. Cross your hands in front of you, take the left hand behind you. And again, on the inhale, just get tall and long. And on the exhale, relax, looking over your left shoulder. Another breath here. Come center. And let's just take 3 big Ujjayi breaths, because we haven't done Ujjayi breaths in a long time. So just as a refresher, a Ujjayi breath is you breathe in through the nostrils, long and deep. And as you breathe out, you're going to constrict the throat, making that sort of Darth Vader sound, as if your mouth was open, it'd be like fogging up the mirror. And again, long. So about 4 seconds in, 5 seconds, and 4 or 5 seconds out. So we'll just do 3 of those. So go ahead and breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. We're going to try to do those Ujjayi breaths as we move today. So let's come into table. So Shari, I've been doing more yoga teacher training so that I become a 500-hour level teacher. And so many poses that I don't normally incorporate were like inspiring me to put in there. So if you're okay with it, I think we're going to flip the dog today, and we're going to do some other things that sort of I've ignored for a while. But come into table, knees under hips, and wrists under shoulders. Let's first take that right hand and bring it up high, and then come through under the arm. Bring the shoulder down. Let your right cheek come to the floor, and take your left hand and bring it straight out for thread the needle. And take a deep breath here, in, and then out, do Ujjayi breath. Bring that left hand back under, Hands again to underneath your shoulders and take the left arm up to the sky. Look up at that left hand and let it come through. And take the right arm straight out in front of you. And come back to center. Let's do a couple of cat-cows. So let the belly come to the floor. Take a deep inhale, chin up for cow. And then as you exhale, bring this navel towards the spine, round the back, tuck the chin for cat. And do that with your breath. Take 5 breaths here just to warm up the spine. And as you come back to neutral, start to bring your whole body over the right wrist. We're going to give the wrists a little bit of, I know that I've been on the phone for probably the whole 9 hours I was in the car, and I know that my wrists could feel it. So just circle yourself over the wrists in one direction and then in the other. And come back to neutral. Take that right foot, bring it straight out, bring it hip height, and take the left arm out for bird dog. Your gaze is at the floor, so your neck is long and straight along with the spine. And this is a balance pose and it's core work. And put energy into the arms because then it becomes an arm exercise as well. And you can flex that back foot. So that becomes leg work as well. Take the hand back down, bring the foot back down, the leg back down under the hips, and take the left leg out, hip height. Gaze is to the floor, right arm straight out in front of you. Energy from the foot, flexed foot, all the way to the fingertips. Deep breath. Hand back under, knee comes down. And let's come to our knees. Come back up, you're on your knees. And let's take that right, I'm gonna come face you. Take the right foot out, bring it to the side, and press down to the pinky toe. So the foot's pointing straight ahead. You're pressing into the pinky toe. Your torso is straight. So the bent knee, you're straight in line with the bent leg. Your hips are over that. And we're coming into gate pose. So the interesting thing that I've learned about gate pose is that it's about 50% of the people say, take the right arm, bring it down the leg, and the left arm comes overhead and you lean towards that same side, which is great. So wide, make sure the chest is wide, come overhead. Take a couple of breaths here. And then the interesting thing is that 50% of the people say, bring that left hand down. So bring a block to your side. You might need to take it on a high level. And take the right arm overhead so that you're facing in the other direction. So we're going to do both. And I guess if you had your arm straight out, it almost looks like a side angle pose. And it's all the way pressing the pinky toe side of the foot to the fingertips. There's an energy line. Come back to center. Bring the foot back so that the knee's bent under the hips. And we're just going to do the other side. So take the left leg out. Pinky toe side of the foot pushes down into the mat. Your body is straight. We're not leaning. Your torso is straight. So that if that left leg was bent, you'd still be in the same position. The left arm comes down the leg, the right arm comes overhead. Make sure your chest is wide so you're not leaning forward and you're leaning towards that straight leg. Couple of breaths here. See if you can do a Ujjayi exhale. And then we take the right arm down onto a block and the left arm comes overhead in the other direction. And they're both considered gate pose. As interesting as that is, I actually asked the instructors, wait a minute, I've seen now both in the curriculum. And they said, well, so I kind of like doing both. Hands come back, knee comes back under hips. Bring your hands down again to table, curl the toes under, come into down dog, and pedal your feet, waking up the hamstrings. You might need to take your dog a little wider so you get a good stretch. And then come to plank. Exhale, come to down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. And this time, one more time for down dog, and walk the feet to the hands and just hang in a forward bend. You can definitely have a bend in your knees. At our first forward bend, you might want to hold your elbows, allow the torso to be long, the head to be loose, and then gently roll up. Better tie my hair back. Okay, we'll do a couple of sun salutations just to continue warming up. These little things, they always fall out of my ears. I was never great at holding individual headphone things in my ears. Okay, to the front of your mat, lift the toes up. Let's put the big toe down, the pinky toe down, so you can keep those 3 toes up, and then let them come down. Make sure that you're stacked with the ankles under the knees, hips over the knees, rib cage over the hips. Everything is straight and in line, shoulders down away from the ears. Let's take our hands. Inhale, come up, sun salutation. We're touching the sun. Look up, a slight back bend from the shoulder, so from the upper back, not from the lower back. And exhale, come down, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway with a flat back, which brings your shoulders back. Exhale, come back down, hands on either side of the feet. Bring yourself to a plank position, and then lower yourself down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. So bend in the elbows. Elbows are tight towards the body. Just a slight back bend at this point. Curl the toes under, tailbone to the sky, down dog. Take a breath here. See if you could do the exhale ujjayi breath. So, and walk your feet to the hands. Allow yourself to hang. Come, inhale halfway, shoulders back with a flat back. Exhale, come back down, and inhale, reverse swan dive. Touch the sky. Come back down. We'll do one more of those. So inhale, hands up, touch the sun, back bend. Exhale, come down, forward bend, relax the head. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands on either side of the feet, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lift your tailbone to the sky for down dog. Couple of breaths here. We're still pedaling the feet to warm up those hamstrings. And walk your feet to the hands. Forward bend. Inhale, come halfway. Exhale, back down. And inhale, reverse swan dive. Touch the sky. Exhale, mountain. Let's do one sun salutation B. So again, plant the feet. Make sure you're on all 4 corners of your feet. Inhale, hands come up, but keep them wide, and your feet come, your knees bend, your tailbone goes into a chair position. So we're in chair. Arms could be in a V. Welcome sun, welcome spring, welcome vaccines. See if you can sink a little bit lower. We're holding this. You want to be able to see your toes over your knees. So you don't want your knees to be jutting out beyond your toes. And then exhale, just bend down, put your tailbone to the sky and come into a forward bend. Let your head hang loose. Say yes, say no. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands on either side of the feet, plank, chaturanga. Let the toes go flat out so you're on the fronts of your feet. And let's come up into up dog. So you know this, 4 points. You're on your hands and the fronts of your feet. Shoulders are back away from the ears. Curl the toes under, tailbone to the sky for down dog. Take your right foot into the air, bring it through. Take the back foot, turn it 45 degrees so you're in warrior one. Bend a little deeper into that front leg, pressing the back foot to the pinky toe side of the foot. The whole foot should be down onto the floor. Hands down on either side of the front foot. Plank position, chaturanga, and up dog. Just curl the toes under, tailbone to the sky, down dog. Lift the left foot into the air, let it come through towards the inside of the left hand, turn the back foot 45 degrees and plant that back foot. Make sure you're pressing into the pinky toe side, bend the front leg, hips face forward, hands up, bend into that front leg for warrior one. Hands on either side of the front foot, plank, chaturanga, up dog. Curl the toes under, come into down dog. And we take 3 breaths here. Walk the feet to the hands and just hang in a forward bend. You can bend the knees. Taking off my earrings because I think that they're clamoring onto the AirPods. And as we inhale, we come up back into chair, wide V with the hands, torso is long and tall, and we sink our tailbone into a chair. Again, make sure you can see your toes over your knees. And then just straighten up. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Okay. I don't think anyone else joined us today, even though they registered. And I think a couple of people paid. Weird. Okay. Guess things come up. I know that UJA had a big canasta tournament this morning. I lost a couple people to that. Okay, we're going to start with a little different kind of sequence here. So stand in mountain, pressing all 4 corners of the feet into the floor because you want to get stability, and take that right foot back so the toes are pointed straight ahead on both legs. Bend that front leg and come into high lunge. So your hands are up. Take your arms and bring them to cactus. We want to open up the heart, open up the chest, take the shoulders back, counteract all that computer work we end up doing, and rounding our shoulders. Let's clasp the hands behind us and lift up as we bend forward, lifting the clasp into the air, come into the inside of the front foot, and come back up into, cactus arms. Straighten out the front leg, hands to the floor. You might need blocks on either side of the front foot. Your toes are pointed straight ahead, and we're in pyramid. So see if you can bend at the hip crease and come over that front foot. If you can't, you can keep a micro bend in the leg. You don't have to come all the way down. Just stretching the hamstrings here. Bend the front leg, come back with cactus arms. Here's where it gets interesting. I want you to twist and turn so that you're facing the side of the mat. Your feet are parallel to the front of the mat, and you're in a wide-legged, wide angle pose. Take your block, bring it down in front of you. Place the right hand on the block so that your torso is straight, your shoulders are back. Take the left arm up to the sky and twist. Your gaze is at your fingers if you can see them. Switch hands. Left arm comes down, left shoulder's over the left wrist. Your back is straight as your right arm comes up for a twist here. Remove the block, come down to a wide-legged forward bend. You can have your hands on the floor. If you can do a yogi toe hold, that's great. So you take your index and your middle finger and you wrap them around the inside of the big toes so that your fingers are between your big toe and your second toe. And they come around and you hold them and you bend your elbows and you pull yourself down. Take a couple breaths here. Hands down onto the floor. We're going to bend the right leg and press the left straight leg into the pinky toe side of the foot into the floor. And then move to the other side. And then move to the other side. And then move to the other side. Bring your hands straight out in front of you. Come down with your knees onto the floor. We're coming into frog. So frog, your legs are straight out from your knees. So they're not bent in, they're out. And it's sort of, you're trying to get down. It's like a mini split. You can make a little hammock for your hands so that your forehead comes onto the hammock. And it's the inside of your thighs are being stretched here. It's like a mini split, but it's frog. Great hip opener. See if your legs can go a little bit further apart. And then come back up. Hands to the ground, curl the toes under, and you're back into wide angle. And now we're going to heel toe our feet together just a little bit. Toes are splayed out, heels in, and come into Malasana Yogi Squat. With your elbows, press the knees out. Torso long and straight. Hands to the floor, straighten out the legs. Now, before you bring and do anything with the feet, turn the right foot out so it's parallel to the front of the mat, and the left foot faces the front of the mat so that you are in a sort of warrior two and triangle pose, leg position, and come up, bend that front knee, come into warrior two. Slide the right hand down, peaceful warrior. Can't do a sequence without a little bit of warrior in it, since that's what I usually focus on. Bring that left arm onto the thigh. Right arm comes overhead for side angle pose. And back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg as if someone's pulling your torso with taking your front fingers and pulling them towards you. Come into triangle pose. Triangle pose, see if you can feel like you're between two panes of glass so that your body's really straight and you're not leaning forward, which is where we tend to be with this pose. Your hand that's on the leg could be facing the front, which is Ashtanga style, with your hand facing out, could be holding the back of the leg, which gives you a little bit more room to open the chest, or it could be right on the leg. Again, in all my studies, there's no right way. The poses really are about your body and what feels good. See if you can Come down a little further there. You can even use a block to get a little bit of a deeper stretch. Then come back into warrior two. So we bend the front leg. We're in warrior two, torso straight. And then wheelhouse the arms down, bring the foot back, come into down dog. Give yourself a nice big breath here. Bring the right leg up to the sky. Bend the leg, open the hip, which means we stack the hips on top of each other, then bring it back so that your hips are parallel to the floor, and then take the knee towards the wrist for pigeon and slide the back leg back. See if you can make a hammock with your hands. Put your head down on it and relax into pigeon. Couple of breaths. See if when you exhale, you can constrict the throat and get that Ujjayi breath again, which basically stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system and helps you relax. Hands on either side of the front knee. Curl the back toes under. Come back to down dog. And here's where we get interesting. So take the right leg up to the sky again. Then see if you can take it behind you, place it on the floor, flat on the floor. Take your right hand off the mat, lift yourself up from your hips, and bring your hand back for flipping the dog or rock star. And then come back to down dog. So just a twist. And then walk your feet to your hands. Hang here for a second. Exhale and come up, touch the sky, reverse swan dive back to mountain. We have the other side. Okay, so straighten out your body, make sure you're all aligned. Feel both feet on the floor. Make sure they're even. And now take your left foot back and bring it so the toes are pointed straight ahead. You're in high lunge. So your front foot is bent, your front leg is bent, your arms are out to the sky. And then we take our hands and we bring them back to cactus arms. See if you can clasp the hands behind you and bend at the hip crease and come into the front, inside front of the leg. And then come back up, hands into cactus. Straighten out the front leg, hands to the floor or to blocks, and see if you can forward bend over that front leg for a nice pyramid stretch. Take a couple of breaths here, see if you can make them Ujjayi breaths. Bend that front leg, come back up to high lunge with cactus arms. And here's where we do that twisting thing again, where we're going to take the back foot, turn it so it's parallel to the mat, take the front foot, make sure it's parallel to the mat, and you're back in wide angle pose. So if you have a block, take the block, put it in the center, down by where your face would be as you forward bend. Take your right hand, place it on the block, and take that left hand and bring it to the sky so that your shoulders are almost stacked one on top of another. You're in a twist. Your gaze is up at your hand. See if you bend your fingers if you could see it. And then come to the other side. So first, make sure that your shoulders are parallel with the floor, and then stack one shoulder on top of the other, and hand comes up to the sky. Deep breath in. Come center, remove the block, hands to the floor. And again, we can do a yogi toe hold on our feet, bringing our torso down. We're bending in a forward bend here, elbows are out. Hands to the floor. What did we do here? Oh, right. Bend the right leg and let the left leg press into the pinky toe side of the foot as we do a little stretch on each side and then move to the other side. Do it again on the right, bending the right leg, leaving the left leg straight, and then come back to the other side. And then take your hands and curl yourself out so that we can bring the knees down so that they're parallel with the feet. Or the feet come straight out from the knees. Make yourself a little hammock with your hands for frog. Couple of breaths here. When you're ready, come up onto your hands, curl the toes under, come back into a yogi squat. We're in Malasana. This is one of those poses that they say yogis in India sit in. This is like their comfort seating. And this is also the way that anatomically is the best way. This is the way people went to the bathroom before they sat on toilets. So squatty potty. Bring your hands down to the floor, straighten your legs. And as you do so, take that front foot, place it so it's facing the front of the room. Back foot comes parallel to the mat so that you are in warrior two leg position. And let's come into warrior two. So torso is straight up and down over the hips. Your right hand is into the future. Wait, are we doing right? I think so. Yeah, we were facing the other way before. Left hand is behind us. Take that left hand, slide it down the leg. Right hand comes over into peaceful warrior. Right arm comes onto the thigh and left hand comes over for side angle pose. And then bring it back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg as if someone's taking your fingers and bringing you forward. Tip down into triangle. Your shoulders should be stacked one on top of each of another. Your gaze is at your top hand. Come back to warrior two. So arms come straight out and your front leg is bent. And then wheelhouse your arms towards the front on either side of the front leg. Let that back foot twirl around so that both toes are facing the front of the mat. Bring that right foot back to meet the left and bring the tailbone to the sky for down dog. Take the left foot up in the air and bring your left knee towards your left wrist for pigeon. Let the right leg slide back a little bit. You can make yourself a hammock with your hands. Couple of breaths here. Hands on either side. Curl the back toes under. Lift the tailbone to the sky. Bring the left leg to meet the right. Tailbone to the sky into down dog. Let's lift the left leg. Bend the leg so that hips are stacked. Take the left leg, let it come down to the mat. Turn your body. Left leg, left arm in the air. Over for flipping the dog. Lift the hips to the sky. Head comes back. And then left hand comes back to meet the right. Back to down dog. Walk your feet to your hands. Let yourself hang for a second. And then exhale and bring your hands to the sky. Back to center. Let your feet come back to neutral. Make sure that they both feel even. And let's take that right leg and hug it to the chest. And let's just bring it into a tree position. Keeping yourself so that your hips not jutted out. Hands to prayer or cactus arms, or however you want to express your limbs, the limbs of your tree. but the knee tries to stay out to its own side. Foot comes down. Just rock forward, rock back. Let those legs feel even again. Hands to heart center. Let's take the left leg. Oops, let's hug it to the chest first. Sorry about that. And then take your hands to heart center as your left leg comes into tree position wherever it can on this side. Oops, losing my balance today. Just when you lose your balance, just do it a little bit lower. You can bring the arms to whatever expression feels good to you. And then come back to center. Let's take a seat. Bring the soles of your feet so that they kiss. I love that expression. And come into bound angle pose. So your torso is upright, shoulders away from the ears. You're holding your feet and you're allowing those knees, whether you have to bounce them a little bit, but we're trying to get a little stretch here in the hips and the thighs, the hamstrings, all of everything in the legs. Bring your feet out straight in front, your left foot out and straight in front of you. Your right foot is bent towards your body. Your right arm comes behind you. Your left hand can either hug your knee or come to the outside of the leg as we twist. Deep breaths here. And let's switch sides, so come back to center, switch legs. You can either hug the knee, turn the body, put the left hand behind you, or bring that right arm to the outside of the leg with the palm out facing the outside world, so that when your palm is open and out facing, you're open to gratitude, you're open, as opposed to keeping the energy inside, which sometimes we do too in yoga. Come back to center. And let's just bend the legs. Let your soles of your feet come to the floor. Your knees are bent, but they're out. They're not as close to your hips. We're just going to lean back and come up into boat. So you're going to come onto your sits bones, sort of your hips, and you're balancing into boat with your legs out. Your body's leaning back. It's core work. So if you can straighten the legs, and come back down to center. Let your feet touch the floor, and let's come down into reclined position. Bring your feet out as wide as the mat, hands out in a T, and let your legs relax to the right, relax to the left, relax to the right again, and this time take your right foot and allow the foot to lean on the left knee, so it brings that knee down, so you get a little bit of a stretch. Make sure your shoulders are both on the floor. Bring the feet back, and let's do the other side. So your left foot comes over the right knee. Bring the feet back to center. Let's take those legs up in the air. Twirl the ankles around in each direction. And then grab a hold with the yogi toe hold again of the toes and allow your feet to go wide. Today we did frog, asana, we did a few stretches, even gate pose. All of those poses are stretch the hips, the legs. Bring the legs back up into center. Allow your feet to come down. Let's hug the knees to the chest for a moment. Actually, let's bring the feet and grab the outside of the feet. Bring your feet up to the air. Let's do a happy baby here. So you're pressing the knees into the underarms. You can rock side to side to give your lower back a little massage. And let's bring the legs down for Shavasana. So allow your body to just relax. Hands out by your sides, palms facing up, shoulders down. See if you can bring them down your back. Allow your legs to splay out and just scan your body. Start with the feet and work your way up. Really searching for any place that might have a little bit of tension so that you can relax that tension. Deep breaths. Ujjayi exhales. And in the words of my yoga teacher, Michael Day, you are beauty, you are love, you are light, you are truth. When you're ready, you can bring some attention to your fingers and your feet by wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers. And then when you're ready, roll over to your right side using your left hand to bring yourself up to a seated position. Hands heart center. And again, I'm so grateful you're here today. Thank you and namaste. Have a wonderful week. I hope that we see more signs of spring and lots of flowers and sunshine.